Hello everyone, welcome to my channel ASP.NET Core, and today I am going to show you the next project video tutorial, that is school management system. School management software is a type of software designed to help school manage their daily administrative and academic tasks. It typically includes features such as student information management, attendance tracking, grade reporting, scheduling, library management, and accounting. You know very well. So here we have. So just create a new project in the Visual Studio and let's do start the school management software and including some features like student related, teacher related, and the session related. Okay, let's do it. So now you can see here we have school project.wap, and just I'm going to add some other projects in the solution. So add a new project, and that is the class library project. So here we have a class library project, and just I'm going to add that is the school project dot models. So that is the basic core of the you can say that or you can say just rename this model with the core. Okay, so basically all models are there in the solution right here in the project. Okay, so here we have a models in the web. Just I'm going to add some repositories right now, like generic repositories. So here we have a class library project, and just name it school project dot repositories. So here we have some repositories which is related to the school. I meant to say that here I'm going to add a generic repositories. Okay, so here we have three projects. The next one is the service layer projects. So just I'm going to add a new project, class library project, school project dot services. So here we have a service project. So just delete this class one, and just I'm going to add a new web project, that is the new project, and class library. And the next one is school project dot view models. Okay, and the last one is utility project. So here we have add a new project, and that is the utilities, that is school project dot utilities. So finally here we have three projects. Here we have six projects in the solution, that is the model, repository, services, utilities, view model, and the web. So the first thing you can do in your project, that is the models project, or you can say that the core projects. Here I'm going to add only one in the model section. The first class in the model you have to add, that is the student. So empty file, and the name of the student, name of the class file is student. And in the project here I'm going to add these properties like ID, first name, last name, date of birth, date of join selected, that is the boolean property, and that is the key ID, that is the unique property. So for the uniqueness you have to choose that package service stack.interface, find and install. After you notice that your unique of the QID is the unique. Okay, so everything is fine. Now I'm going to add that the second one, that is teacher. So I add a new empty file, and here I'm going to add teacher.cs. In the teacher.cs, here we have these properties like ID, first name, last name, date of birth, date of join, selected key ID, that is unique, and qualification and year of the experience. Now you are talking about the key ID. Key ID is you can say that when I use identity in the project, then I will use this. Okay, So after that you have to use application user class. So empty file application user class.cs file, and that application user is inherited with the identity user class, and that package is actually exist Microsoft.ASP.NET Core find and latest install with package manager. And Microsoft, it's not actually this, just I'm going to add identity, and here we have you can say that Microsoft.ASP.NET Core dot identity, that package, but just I'm going to add entity framework core again. So this is the latest preview is 8.0, but latest table is 7.0.3. Then I will go for latest table. So now select this file, and just here I'm going to add the type or the namespace identity user in the application user class is not found. So just use control dot key in your keyboard and just select this Microsoft ASP.NET Core dot identity. Okay, everything is fine. Now the next one, the next step is to do in the web project. Just I'm going to add that is application user class. You know that. So here I'm going to add a identity in the project. So before going to identity, you have to add a application DB context in the repository section. But before the application DB context, you have to need one more classes like grade, and grade is related to the class. So here I'm going to add in the next empty file, that is grade.cs, and in the grade we have to add id and the name. Okay, so the next class is the grade teacher yearly, and the next one is session class, or you can say empty file session.cs. It's a name actually, but I will take it session. Okay, so now you can say that GitHub pilot also suggest me some fields related to this session, but I'm not using right now here. Just I'm going to add these three files like id, start, and end. Okay, so save this, and here we have a grade, session, teacher, student, and relationship is not there. So just I'm going to add some relationship table. So here I'm going to add a new middle table, add a new file, and that file name is enroll.cs. And in the enrollment table, here we have three things, that is the student ID, session ID, and that is the grade ID. So the session name is session. Okay, and these are not mapped properties like grade, session, and student. Okay, so here we have related to the student, you can say that. So just open the student table first of all, and here I'm going to add prop I collection, and that is the property that is enroll, and that is the next one. Okay, so similarly just I'm going to change some other properties. Okay, so wait for some times, and just I'm going to add a new one class for the teacher and the session. So now just I'm going to add a new model, assign grade, right? So the next model is assign grade between the teacher and the grade. So here we have a new empty file, assign grade.cs, and in this view, just so here we have these properties in the assign grade, that is id, grade, teacher id, and teacher. Okay, so the relationship between the assigned grade, that is the grade, and the teacher. So just I'm going to add a teacher and the grade in the later session. Okay, now also here we have many to many relationship between the grade and the subject. So here I'm going to add a new empty file, and that is grade subject dot cs, and here I'm going to add these properties. grade subject. Oops. That is between the grade and the subject. So these properties are related to the grade and the subject like this. So here we have a subject in the subject ID, and here with the student's grade, assigned grade, and subject is not there. So just I'm going to add a new subject, that is subject, add a new model, empty file, subject.cs. So the subject and the grade, that is the ID, name, and the grade subject like this. Okay. So here we have that is the subject and the grade relationship between the grade and the subject. So grade subject is here. So each one just I want to open and create the relationship. So first of all, open grade.cs, and just I'm going to add these properties like public eye collection, assign grade. There is the assigned grade, enrollment, and the grade subject. So there is the between the grade and the subject. Okay, so here you can say that a grade have multiple enrollment between the grade ID, student ID, and session ID. And assigned grade, just I'm going to say that class have multiple, you can say subject, like that's grade subject. That is the grade subject. Assigned grade, I mean to say that a class have to assign to the teachers. So teacher ID and the class ID is also mentioned. So class is related to the grade. Okay. If I open to student, that is related to the enrollment table, because student ID, grade ID, and the session ID is related to this like that. So yearly session, the student have enrollment in the yearly session. Okay, so just open the subject table, and you know that a subject inside in the grade subject. So now the next one is the related to the teacher, and here just I'm going to add teacher session. So assign grade teacher session, and that is the get set. Oops. Okay, so here we have a teacher session. Teacher session, I mean to say that teacher is enrolled in the teacher session where session ID is there. So teacher session, I think is not there in the context. So just I'm going to add a new file and add a empty file, teacher session.cs. Okay. The same thing you can do, that is the suggested by the copilot, that is ID, teacher ID, session ID in the session. So here we have a session class, so session ID. So everything is clear now in the models. Just I'm going to do in the repository section and add a new class, that is application DB context. Okay. So in the application DB context, just I'm going to add these like. Okay, now in the next step, we have to go for the application DB context in the repository. So just add a new file, that is name is application DB context. .cs, and just I'm going to add this application DB context in this session like that. Okay, so wait for some times. And here we have the code, that is the identity DB context in the repositories. So you can check in the there is already have an identity package in the item group. So just I'm going to add this package in the repositories also. So here we have a properties project, just I'm going to add. Okay, so here we have, there is a no need to use this package right now here. And Microsoft.ASP.NET Core Entity Framework Core is package is installed. After installing, you can see in the application DB context and remove that part from here using Microsoft ASP.NET Core Identity.Entity Framework Core. And also you have to remove like that Microsoft Entity Framework Core. Now in the application users, so here we have a application users. there is the application users. So just now control dot and add reference of the application models, and all these are student teacher yearly sessions and not actually yearly session. Here we have the class that is the session. So resolve. Okay, also you can see in the application DB context right here, so there is a no need. And the next one is to the Fluent API, that is the own model creating. The first API tell in the assign grade has one grade with many assigned grade, has foreign key grade ID on delete behavior set to null. So that is the next one is there. Assign grade. Assign grade has foreign key teacher ID on delete behavior null. Similarly with the enrollment table, has one session, and you can say dot has I think it's enrollment table with the session is not configured. So just I'm going for the session, and here we have not configured properly. Now in the session you can see here we have the code enrollment and like that. So just save this and again to the repository project, save all application DB context, and here we have dot enrollment like that. Okay, so everything is clear. Now just I'm going to the next part, that is just I'm going to add a identity in the project. So just add identity and add new scaffold item, and the scaffold items tell that is the identity one, and so here we have a update dependency information scaffold items in the school project.web. Retrieving information from the DB. So here we have just override all files, but you notice that there is a nothing here because reference is not right now added. So web and the dependencies package, manage NuGet package, and just I want to add project reference. So here we have just I want to add models because I need application user, and here we have a repositories right now, and you can see that here we have some projects. Okay, so after adding the projects you have to add the identity. So add new scaffold item identity, and the next process is to related identity. Here we have an override all files first of all and select application DB context. But you notice that the user class is not right now, it's not linked. Okay, so just I'm going to add a new application DB context, and here you can see that when we add school project dot web dot data dot school project dot web context is added right now, then you will see that use SQLite instead of this. So here we have application user inside in the model. So add it. There is a no issue. Okay. So after that, we will go for removing that DB context from here and adding the DB context right now. Wait for some time. So finally delete the data folder from the identities and also remove the entries from here. Okay, so just now replace the context file from the application DB context, and you know that application DB context is actually existing in the repository section. And what is the database name in app settings installation file? And here we have the database name, that is schoolproject.web, like that. Okay, so fine. Now save all and just going for do for the build solution. And here you can see that the build is started. Wait for some times, it will take time, and I will show you the next step after that. So here you can see that build is 1 successful, 0 failed, and like that. And just I'm going to do for migration. So in the package manager console, and you do for the repository section, and the repository section, just I'm going to add some other thing like DB initializer class, generic repositories, etc. And after that I will do the next step. Okay, so first of all, in the repositories, here just I'm going to add generic repositories.